you know, beyond or before the skills, the experience, all that. Yes, has something to play with, or has, you know, its own area with the role. But the main thing is the company has a budget. Yes, they may have had some benchmarking. They have, you know, they've researched the market on that position and have put out that advert with a figure in mind for the candidates they want to come in. But basically, there's a budget for it first. Then the individuals who are to come on board, or candidates, have to have the requisite skill, knowledge, and experience to be able to earn the value that they believe they deserve based on that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So when you say no organization, or most organizations will never pay you your worth. Yeah, what you see, there's a group of people, I want to call them what they are. They call themselves first class graduates.
Yeah.
They believe that earning don't laugh, man. Don't laugh. You're serious here. I mean, earning a first class alone is value. Do you know I have a first class? I mean, you cannot be paying a first class graduate like myself. Best graduating student, faculty of this, best graduating student, use something sets. Greatest achiever, most likely to prosper in life, most likely to be successful in life, valedictorian. Yes. I mean, when you see me, if I come, like, you're supposed to be rushing me, you're supposed to be hugging me. I just say, okay, how much do you like us to pay you? And if I pay you 1 million, don't argue, just pay. I'm a first class material. Come on. I mean,
oh dear Lord.
Now tell me, are there specific industries or roles where it is harder or easier to earn what you are worth, and why? I mean, because every now and then you keep hearing people say things like oil and gas is where you would see money. If you're not working in a multinational oil company, you're not doing rig work, if it's not, the oil companies I'm talking about, then forget it. If you go to the private, not many private sectors pay well enough. So aim for these places. I mean, with what you're offering, this is where you should be sending your applications to. It begins to seem like, yes, there are actually organizations where it is easier and others where it is harder.
Well, I think that's like a fad or a facade per se. It doesn't necessarily apply, because if you're, for example, you talked about the oil industry. If you compare the oil industry even to the IT industry, you would see that there has been a turn, in a sense that, now the IT industry might be paying more than the oil industry.
Really?
So depending, on that sector, that company, the role, that would determine, your income or what is going to be paid to you. Not just because it's the oil company. It's assumed, to be honest, that they pay you higher. Not necessarily. Yes, it's there, but not necessarily. There are still some other sectors that the pay is, in fact, matches or even surpasses what you might be getting in an oil sector as well. So we won't necessarily say which one is harder, to earn your worth, because earning your worth really is about the individual. What you are bringing to the table and what the organization is willing to pay you. Permit me to say, we have what we call like a labor system, where to some extent organizations, right, would this may sound a bit, but I would just say it. Organizations want to take as much as they can from you, and sometimes may not pay the requisite amount or wage for your worth truly. Now, as I said, this is just what it is, unfortunately, in some organizations, right? So when you say paying according to your worth, there is hardly, to be honest, an organization that will pay that. Now, what I think organizations do is to compensate for your basic pay with allowances and other complementary benefits, right? Because sometimes now those allowances far outweighs even your take-home net income, right? They are heftier. So when you are looking at organizations and looking at pay, you should look beyond just the salary,
the basic salary,
and look at the basic salary and think of the other perks, the other benefits or allowances that come with it as well. And even from salary, there's also things like bonuses, when you hit your targets, so incentives here and there. So we shouldn't be necessarily like just narrow-minded to just what the net income is. Yes. But there are so many other things that come in, with your salary, or your position as well. So those are the things to consider when looking at different industries and where you fit in as well.
Okay. I think that takes care of one of the questions I was going to ask when I was going to ask beyond salary, what other forms of compensation or benefit should people consider negotiating for? Because even with salaries, sometimes it is open to negotiation. And then, you know how you say, how much am I being offered? And you say, okay, nothing else. And they say, okay, in addition to this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do that. Or you propose to them like, okay, this will not cover, but if I can get this, if I can get transportation to and from my apartment, if I can get accommodation, if I can get maybe there's a staff bus that picks up and drops up as a designated point that covers transport, then maybe just maybe this will serve. Aside that, you people may need to top up something. But then again, in practice, what are the most effective strategies for salary negotiation? I know you've already established that most organizations work with a budget. However, even with that budget, there is still a little room for you, the one who is applying for the position, or you who have been in that position long enough and feel like it is time for you to get a raise. We'll need to,
okay.
Now let's talk in practical terms. It's not far-fetched. Subsidy is gone. Hiking prices. You talked about inflation up to about 37% and all. And I've been earning this since maybe like 2010 when a bag of rice was not 100 and something thousand naira. And this is 2025. I mean, I should be able to walk up to management and say, hello, sir, hello, ma. I think at this juncture. So it's either at entry point or while you are there. I mean, strategies that can help maybe to touch management's mind, and they'll say, okay, I think at this point in time, we can do something or not.
Okay, so I see what you mean. Some organizations, especially in where we find ourselves now in the country, with hikes in prices for everything, some organizations have taken it upon themselves to do a salary review and increase everybody's salary without even the employees going out with placards or saying, "Oh, you must increase our salary." They've seen the one way 30,000 to 70,000, and even at that, people still complaining. But this is a way to help, to alleviate some of these issues. So when we talk about strategies for salary negotiation, it's always good to know that there is a budget. Because your company
you are HR, I understand. You always speak for HR. It's okay, not your problem. Go ahead.
but it's the reality, to be honest. Because I can't tell you I'm going to pay you 500,000 and I'm making maybe 400 or 300,000 a month, if you get what I mean. So it's not reasonable. So the pay will be based on, the profits from the organization, the budgets that have been set out. If like you mentioned that somebody may have been in the organization for up to 10 years and has been on the same salary. The question is, why is the person on the same salary? What is the person's performance like? So it's based on what you are bringing, the value you are bringing to the table. That can determine how your pay raise or promotion goes. If you are the kind of staff who is lackadaisical and is like, as long as they are paying me, I beg, I can't be bothered. Whatever level they should leave me there, they are paying me. You are not making any effort. You are not adding value in any way. Your promotions, appraisals come, you are not hitting your targets consistently. Then whether you've been there for 10 years, it's not automatic that you'll be promoted. You need to be consistent in hitting targets, and adding value. I'd rather pay somebody who is making my organization more profitable, has brought in more, more products, more customers. We are making more money because you are there, because you have gone at that. Somebody who is just sitting down and like, I beg, if people can't be bothered. Do you get what I mean? So your value is based on how the effect you have on the organization, how you're making the organization profit. When people see that you are almost indispensable, you are good at what you do. Basically, when we talk about adding value, basic is that you are doing your work and doing your work well. Period. Right? Once you are doing that, that is adding value. The extras, right, on making the company more profitable by going out of your way, doing beyond expectation, that is even the extra from what it means to add value. But it is about doing your work and doing your work almost faultlessly well.
Is it my father's company? Is it my father's company?
Oh yeah.
Why do you want to stress me?
It is.
Why do you want to stress me? You put down to pay me well. You want me to go and do above and beyond for what? Yeah.
But the funny thing about that attitude, like you talked about first class graduates, this sort of attitude of, I beg, it's not my father's company. That's what is in it for me. Entitlement mentality. The first class person already feels entitled that, with all this first class, my hard work, I went to Harvard, I went to this, that. So they feel entitled that they need, they deserve more when they have not shown working. So we've had situations where we've employed a 2-1 or a first class graduate, and there's nothing to show. No emotional intelligence. Their work ethic is horrible. They have attitude here and there. They can't even do the work properly. And you're like, first class? So it goes beyond your first class. So, those are the things to take into consideration. Then when the attitude of, it's not my father's business. So why do I have to put in any effort? How does it concern me? We know that you reap what you sow. Right? If you cannot take care of somebody else's thing or company, then people will not take care of yours or you. So it is having the mindset of growth, and a place where you want to have it. Because at the end of the day, right, you being employed, you're actually being employed for yourself.
Okay.
In fact, I would dare say that that organizations pay you to learn, because the experience you are getting from any organization is for you. When you leave that organization, the organization cannot take your brain, cannot take your experience, cannot take all the things you've learned. So they've actually added value to you. There's something they've done for you than you've done for them, in a sense. But obviously, it's a symbiotic relationship. But it's good to look at it from that point of view that, I'm here to learn, and I'm adding value to both myself and the organization. And you take it like it's your father's property or your father's thing.
That's when we started the conversation on Monday, and they most likely would want to. I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot of testaments as to how they are being underpaid and all of that. I'll just call out the phone lines and then we'll try to wrap things up quickly. I think we have barely 8 minutes or so to do this. 0817-923-0002. That's 0817-923-0002. And 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp and Telegram number is 0809-030-6416. Now, Ma'am Tutu, let's assume that the company put out an ad stating there is vacancy, but did not put a figure as to what the compensation or salary or wage will look like. And then someone considers applying, and upon application is called for an interview, and then interview is done, and then it is time to negotiate compensation. As the HR expert, what are the biggest mistakes you see people make when trying to negotiate their compensation? At that point, when it seems like they've been given, it's a blank check, right? When they've been given a blank check.
Okay. So like you said, when the advert, when the salary is not advertised, and they get to know what it is once they've been called for the interview, and you must ask that question. It's a given that during an interview, most of the times the interviewer will ask the interviewee that, what are you expecting from, what is the salary you're expecting from this job? And they will tell you. So then it is the interviewee's responsibility to also ask how much, what is the salary, right? And once that has been established, there can be a negotiation from there. There's nothing wrong with negotiating, but like you mentioned, what can be the mistake people would make during that negotiation? First of all, when they are, negotiating without confidence, or negotiating without knowing their own worth, in the sense of their own experiences, how their experiences count, how their knowledge about the job counts, or even the industry. So, for example, if you wanted to apply for an HR role, HR human resource manager, you must have also done your own research, right? You can Google it. You can check other job adverts and seen the range for that specific role. And if the company who is interviewing you, the range is not within that, you can now negotiate and say that this is the range, right? You've done your research, and this is bringing to the table, and you believe you can do this, you can do that, you can do that. And if you have the requisite experience, knowledge, right, and skill, they will be willing to listen to you. Then for the negotiations, you may not be too big on maybe increasing the salary like 50% or 100%. You can negotiate for other things like allowances, or hybrid working, flexi working, so to speak. There are other things you can negotiate. But at the same time, you need to be very tactful and wise so that you don't also negotiate yourself out of the job.
This one is a thief. You want to come and carry the company now because he's
exactly.
All right.
So there's a balance.
There's a balance. All right.
In having to negotiate, yes.
All right. We need to go on a commercial break now. The phone lines have been buzzing. I'm just so sad that we have a limited time for this particular conversation. Maybe when we come back, I'll take at least one call and read some of the messages I have before me. Do stay tuned to us. It's still 92.3 Nigeria Info. We're still talking earning what you're worth.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info.
We'll be right back after this.
This